The Bears and Packers won. I choked a fantasy game, and the Lions lost. It was not a good week. What's up, everybody? Well, God bless. I hope you all are having a great week. And with that, let's get right into today's power rankings. Seattle Seahawks. We're going to drop them a tier after their loss to the Rams because, Sam Darnold just didn't play well at all. And you can kind of just leave it at that. Sam Darnold had a really bad game, and him and whoever their kicker was missing the game winning field goal is like two things that really, they just didn't really deserve to win that game. And it was just a bad game for Seattle all around. It's not a game where I would panic on them per se, but it still wasn't a good week for them. The Giants also didn't really have a great week. They lost to the Packers, and they were close to beating the Packers, but ultimately couldn't come away with a win. But the good news for them is they still don't look terrible, and they're probably going to get a top 5 pick, which will be really nice for them. Heck, I think right now they are the number 2 pick in the draft or something like that. And the Bengals are jealous of that because they're only going to get like a top 10 pick. And right now, it seems like Joe Burrow's going to come back maybe in the next couple weeks, which seems good on paper. But with that performance against the Steelers, they just looked horrible. And there's no real reason for Joe Burrow to come back. But the Rams, though, they are rolling in every category. A nice statement win over the Rams, or not over the Rams, over the Seahawks. And the Rams are now atop the division, number 2 in the conference, and they are clicking in every facet right now. The Cleveland Browns are not clicking in every facet. Shedeur Sanders came into that game, and it did absolutely nothing for the Browns. They still lost, and Shedeur Sanders only completed 25% of his passes, which is abysmal. The New Orleans Saints, I think, were on bye, and they really needed it. Like, their season has not gone the way they had hoped, and I think everybody kind of knows that. But I think there is a lot to be thankful for, and that is something that you would need come Thanksgiving. Their quarterback situation is not as bad as the teams that are down here in the tanking list. I'm actually going to put the Browns below the Giants because, the Browns' QB situation is worse than the Giants, but I digress. The Saints quarterback situation is not quite as terrible as those teams, and in general, it's just been a mess season. Not a terrible season, but just a mess season. The Atlanta Falcons are a bad team. They are a bad team. We've kind of been trying to figure out what this team is for a while, and their loss to Carolina, who is still kind of an enigma right now, just is another example of how bad this team is. There's no really any other way to put it. They're just not a good team on almost any front. The Falcons lost again. Michael Penix is out for the year, and it looks like they'll be tanking for a top 5 pick. So they're just cooked. As for the Panthers, it seems like if the Buccaneers can continue to lose more games, this team could actually win the division, which would be quite something. And I don't think many people would have expected it, but I did. And you heard it from me first. The Baltimore Ravens are definitely a good but not great team, and they are slowly but surely making their way back into the playoff race. Now at 500, and with the struggles that Pittsburgh has, things are looking really good for Baltimore right now. And I would not be surprised to see Baltimore in the playoffs. The New York Jets are not a team that I will be seeing anytime soon in the playoffs. I think they're just slightly worse than the Giants, but another bad week as they lost to the Patriots on Thursday Night Football and really didn't put up that much fight apart from the first drive. And it's just not a great time to be a Jets fan, especially with Tyrod Taylor taking over. It's just not a good time to be a Jets fan. If you're a Ravens fan, you could be enjoying yourself unless you don't like offense or you don't like defense, my bad. Because their defense is so stinking good, but their offense is just atrocious. And they just couldn't do anything against a pretty mediocre Lions defense. And I'm saying this as a Lions fan. I think they were not able to do as much as they could have. I think they should have blown us out, but they didn't. And it was only a 16-9 win. And granted, the Lions are a good team, and I'm pretty sure I'll have to put Philadelphia up in the top 5. Granted, I think the Lions are a really good team. Obviously, I'm a Lions fan. But I think the Eagles should have beat them by a little more. The Dallas Cowboys are also kind of an enigma right now, if you had to ask me, because they have beat some good teams, and they've beaten some bad teams too, but they're also not quite delivering against some of the top 5 teams like Philadelphia and whatever else top 10 teams they played. And it seems like they're trying to win now, but I'm not so sure it's a great idea given the fact that they're, not a great team defensively. The Houston Texans are also a big enigma right now. Another win over a bad Titans team. I'd say one of the worst teams in football, if you had to ask me. But the Texans are making a comeback, and it seems like they might sneak their way into the postseason. Just maybe. If the Chargers or Jaguars, lose out or something like that, or continue to struggle, then the Texans could find themselves in the playoffs. And you do not want to face the Texans in the wild card because they are a sneaky underdog team in the wild card. The 49ers are a sneaky team right now because they have the 7 seed, or I think they have the 7 seed right now, over, yeah, I think they have either the 6th or the 7 seed over the Green Bay Packers and Lions right now. And I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. I don't think they're that good, and I think they'll probably slip up. But this is a team you want to watch out for on your schedule. But if you're facing the Titans, you can basically chalk it up as a free win. The Titans will probably be tanking for the number 1 overall pick. And if you're a Titans fan, you should probably start doing some mock drafts because this season's not going your way basically at all. The good news is you won't be drafting a quarterback, and that's the good news for you. But you need to figure out whether you want to take the best player available in the draft or trade the number 1 pick because those are your best 2 options right now. The Pittsburgh Steelers are a good but not great team. They beat up on the Bengals, but I still don't quite trust this Steelers team, especially with Rodgers going down with an injury in the Bengals game. I think the Ravens are quickly taking the division from them and at a pretty rapid rate. The Jacksonville Jaguars actually looked really good this week, and I have to give them props for that. They destroyed a really good Chargers team, or not a really good, but a good Chargers team. And sure, I know the Chargers' offensive line is very terrible, but like the Jaguars absolutely crushed them, and it was kind of embarrassing. The Buffalo Bills are a borderline elite team. I'm not going to quite put them in the top 5 yet. I may actually put them in the top 5, but you got to give me a minute to decide that. Yeah, let's go ahead and do it. I think the Bills right now are definitely a top 5 team. I'm just going to commit to that. I think they're a top 5 team. And the reason I think they're a top 5 team is although they've had their struggles, like especially against the Dolphins, I think the Dolphins game is really more of a fluke than anything else. I just think the Bills are performing at a really high level right now, and you've got to admire that. Another good win against a really good Tampa Bay team, and I just like what the Bills are doing right now. I don't really love what the Lions are doing right now. I mean, their offense has been inconsistent this year, and after a few days to kind of mull it over, I don't think that the Eagles game was a complete disaster and that it's a marker of the remainder of our season or anything. Because the Eagles defense is really, really good. But at the same time, it should be a wake-up call for this team because we are no longer in the playoffs as of right now, and that's really concerning to me and we need to get back into the playoffs and fast. And the more time goes on, the more it looks like we're going to have to play a road game in January. And I don't like that. It doesn't seem like the Broncos will be having to play a road game in January. And that is scary for the rest of the league right now because holy cow, Denver looked like a scary place to play on Sunday. And the Chiefs, they were no match for them, like at all. And you have to be happy with that if you are a Broncos fan because you finally beat the Chiefs. And that has to be satisfying. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, borderline elite. And I know a lot of people are panicking on Tampa Bay right now because they lost to back top 5 teams, but I don't think there's a real reason to panic on them just yet because their offense is still playing well. They play in a bad division, and I don't think it's the end of the world for them. I think the Bears, though, they're just continuing to play well, and I think they're playing so well that they actually deserve to be at the top of the borderline elite tier. I know it's shocking, Bears fans. A 12-year-old kid is like giving you, a top 5 spot in the borderline elite tier or something. I don't know, but I do genuinely believe that you guys are playing really, really well right now. And I mean, you won like what 7 of your last 8 games, and that is really impressive. And so I have to give you kudos for that. So you're going up big time in this power rankings. The Dolphins have never been high in my power rankings. They never will be high in my power rankings. I will always be a professional hater on this team, at least as long as this season is alive. Because the Dolphins, man, they're just not a great team right now. You kind of have to admit that right now. I mean, yes, they beat up on the Bills and whoever else they played, but I still don't trust this team. Like, what's their record? Like 3 wins or something like that? I still don't trust them. You know what? Fine. Fine, Dolphins fans. How about this? I'll move you up 1 tier. How about that? Does that make you feel any better? It better make you feel better. Okay, we good now? Great. All right. Now the Chiefs, it's finally time to admit it. You guys are not a borderline elite team. You are good, but not great. And it is finally time for us to admit it. I'm going to put you right above Pittsburgh, but outside of the top 10. And I know that has to be shocking, but I think you guys are right outside of the top 10 right now, or outside of the top 10 in general, like an honorable mention if you want to put it that way. But another loss and you drop to 5-5 on the year, and it's just kind of weird the Chiefs not being at the top of the list of playoff teams right now, just kind of in the mushy middle. It's kind of weird. The Patriots being at the top right now is also super weird. I mean, they're a top 5 team. I'd say right now, I think the Patriots are the best team in football right now, which is probably really shocking to a lot of people. But I think the Patriots are playing about as hot as anybody could play right now. And you have to be happy with that if you're a Patriots fan. Of course, you're happy with that. You're number one. And in general, I think you're probably the best team in football right now. But the Minnesota Vikings, they are mid. They're really mid. And it's just not a great time to be a Vikings fan because, in general, like, they're not good. They're really not good. And it's just not a great time. JJ McCarthy, they're still trying to figure it out with him, but things are still not looking that great with him. And in general, being a Vikings fan right now is pain. Am I right? And now we have the Raiders who are tanking. And we're going to put them right below the Jets, which can't be much fun, but it's kind of where they deserve to be. And I know that the Raiders have good offensive weapons and on paper a decent head coach, but it's just not working. Geno Smith's not playing well in general. Things are not clicking in Las Vegas right now. Another loss to Dallas where they got 33 points put up on them is just it's not good in Raider Town right now. But the Colts are actually a top 5 team. I'm going to drop the Eagles just a little bit now that we've found ourselves another top 5 team. But once I can get the Buccaneers, there we go. Once I can get the Buccaneers moved out of there, that would be real sweet. But yeah, I think the Colts are a really good team. They were on bye this week, and I know that Colts fans probably thought that was a loss because they dropped 2 spots in the playoff picture. But hey, once those 2 teams hit their bye week, you'll jump back up. So I wouldn't panic about it, and you'll be right back up here in these top 5 power rankings. You know what I mean? Just like in general, vibes have to be good. Actually, let me put the Eagles up in the top 5 and drop the Bills down just a little bit. Come on, come on. And there we go. There we go. I'm gonna have to struggle with this tier list thing now, aren't I? But anyway, the Colts number 4 up here in the power rankings. The Washington Commanders won't be number 4 anytime soon. They are bad, and they're just bad. I mean, Jaden Daniels is probably not coming back for the rest of the season, and Marcus Mariota doesn't look that great. And they lost to the Dolphins in Europe, and that's not a great sign. But the Packers, they're still a borderline elite team, and you have to like what they're doing right now. I don't like what they're doing, but that's besides the point. I think right now the Packers are still pretty good. They had a bad game against Philadelphia, but you still have to like what the Packers are doing right now. And I think that the Packers are definitely still in the playoff race. They are like maybe the 6 or 7 seed right now, and you've got to like that. The Cardinals are not a good team. Let's just be completely frank and honest here. They are not a good team. And the Cardinals have some good things going for them. I heard Brissett set the single game completion record or something like that, but I really don't care that much about it. They still got blown out by the 49ers, and that's the most important thing at the end of the day. And in general, they're not a good team right now. The Los Angeles Chargers, to end off our list, good but not great. I wouldn't put them as an enigma, and I wouldn't put them in mid, but good but not great at the very bottom of it seems fitting for them right now. But if you want an official 32 to 1 ranking, here we go. 32 Titans, 31 Browns, 30 Raiders, 29 Jets, 28 Giants, 27 Saints, 26 Commanders, 25 Dolphins, 24 Falcons, 23 Bengals, 22 Cardinals, 21 Vikings, 20 Texans, 19 Cowboys, 18 Panthers, 17 Chargers, 16 Steelers, 15 Kansas City Chiefs, 14 49ers, 13 Jaguars, 12 Ravens, 11 Buccaneers, 10 Lions, 9 Packers, 8 Seahawks, 7 Bears, 6 Bills, 5 Eagles, 4 Colts, 3 Broncos, 2 Rams, and 1 Patriots. But thank you for watching. God bless. And with that, peace!